Hey, what's up, everybody? If you're enjoying the video, please hit that subscribe button and give a thumbs up. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. It really helps support the channel and allows me to keep creating content for you guys.
My name is Mi-sook. I still remember the day I started working at Moonlight Boutique with such hope in my heart. After years of struggling to find stable employment, this upscale clothing store seemed like the perfect opportunity to finally build a career I could be proud of. My husband Jin-ho had been so supportive, his gentle eyes crinkling with pride when I showed him my employee badge. "You'll do wonderfully," he had said, kissing my forehead. "Manager Kim is lucky to have you." How naive I was then, believing that my hard work and dedication would be all that mattered. The boutique was everything I had dreamed of: elegant displays of designer clothes, the subtle scent of expensive perfume hanging in the air, and customers who spoke in hushed, respectful tones. For the first month, I arrived early each morning, meticulously arranging merchandise and memorizing inventory codes until my fingers ached. But that morning, as I was helping a customer select a silk scarf, I felt a shift in the atmosphere. The bell above the door chimed and the store seemed to grow colder. I turned to greet the new arrival and my smile froze on my face. Standing in the doorway, her posture rigid and her eyes sharp as knives, was my husband's mother, Madame Choi. She had never visited me at work before, never shown any interest in my career. Yet here she was, dressed in an impeccable designer suit, her handbag alone worth 3 months of my salary. Our eyes met across the polished floor, and the look she gave me sent ice through my veins. "Mi-sook," she said, her voice carrying throughout the store. "I need to speak with you. Now." I excused myself from the customer and approached my husband's mother with a polite bow. "Mother, what a surprise. Is everything all right?" "Not here," she said, glancing around the store with thinly veiled disdain. "There's a cafe next door." At the cafe, Madame Choi didn't touch her coffee. Instead, she placed a thick envelope on the table between us. "Do you know what this is?" she asked. I shook my head, confusion and dread building in my chest. "Property deeds," she said. "For the building that houses your precious boutique." My hands trembled as I processed her words. You own the building?" Her laugh was cold and brittle. "As of this morning, yes. Jin-ho helped me arrange it. An investment opportunity, he called it." My husband had never mentioned this. Why would he keep such a thing from me? "I don't understand," I whispered. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because," she said, leaning forward, "I think it's time you found a new job. Somewhere more suitable for a woman of your background." The words struck me like a physical blow. But I love my job. I'm good at it. Playing dress-up with expensive clothes doesn't make you one of us, Mi-sook. Her voice was soft but venomous. "Jin-ho may have been charmed by your humble origins, but I see things clearly." Over the following weeks, Madame Choi's visits to the store became regular occurrences. She would arrive unannounced, inspecting merchandise with a critical eye, questioning Manager Kim about sales figures, suggesting changes to displays I had carefully arranged. "Your mother-in-law seems very interested in our business," Manager Kim remarked one day, her expression unreadable. "She's just being supportive," I lied, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. But we both knew the truth. Sales meetings were scheduled when I was off duty. Inventory responsibilities were gradually shifted to other staff members. My hours were reduced, then reduced again. "It's nothing personal," Manager Kim assured me, not meeting my eyes. "Just business restructuring." At home, Jin-ho grew distant. When I tried to discuss his mother's interference, he dismissed my concerns. "You're being paranoid," he said, his attention fixed on his phone. "Mother is a businesswoman. She sees potential in the boutique. She wants me gone," I insisted. Jin-ho finally looked up, his expression hardening. "Maybe if you were more appreciative of her interest, things would be different." That night, as Jin-ho slept beside me, I discovered text messages between him and his mother. "She needs to understand her place. The store is just the beginning. I'm handling it, Mother. Give me time. Time is a luxury we can't afford. The family reputation is at stake." My world began to crumble. The boutique, my safe haven, had become a battleground. Customers I had built relationships with were suddenly directed to other sales associates. My commission checks dwindled. Manager Kim's once warm smiles turned apologetic, then avoidant. "Perhaps you'd be happier somewhere else," she suggested gently one slow afternoon. I could provide a reference. That same evening I overheard Jin-ho on the phone in his study. It's progressing as planned, he said in a low voice. She's becoming isolated at the store. Soon she'll have no choice but to leave on her own. And if she doesn't? I heard his mother's voice tinny through the speaker. Then we moved to phase 2, he replied, his tone chilling me to the bone. 3 months into Madame Choi's campaign, I arrived at work to find the store in chaos. Boxes were being unpacked, new merchandise displayed, items I had never seen in our inventory system. What's happening? I asked a younger colleague, Hygiene, who looked away uncomfortably. The spring collection arrived early, she mumbled. Manager Kim said not to bother you with it. I made my way to the back office, where I found Manager Kim in conversation with my husband's mother. They fell silent when I entered. Mi-sook, Manager Kim said, her voice artificially bright. I didn't expect you in today. It's my regular shift, I replied, my eyes fixed on Madame Choi, who was examining a document with my name at the top. There's been a change, Manager Kim said. Didn't you get my message? No message had been sent. We all knew it. What's that document? I asked, stepping closer. Madame Choi smiled thinly. Nothing that concerns you anymore. Something in me snapped. Years of quiet submission, of swallowing my pride, of trying to earn this woman's approval. It all came rushing to the surface. Show me, I demanded, my voice surprisingly steady. Manager Kim looked panicked. Mi-sook, please. It's a report, Madame Choi cut in smoothly, detailing merchandise that's gone missing over the past 6 months. Expensive items. All during your shifts. The accusation hung in the air like poison gas. That's impossible, I whispered. I would never. The numbers don't lie, she replied, sliding the document toward me. Nearly 20 million won worth of merchandise vanished. Security footage shows you accessing the storage room during non-standard hours. My hands shook as I scanned the report. The dates, the items, it was all fabricated but meticulously so. And there at the bottom was a signature I recognized all too well, Jin-ho's. My own husband. I couldn't finish the sentence. Jin-ho understands what's at stake, his mother said. Our family name can't be tainted by association with a thief. I've never stolen anything in my life. I cried, my voice rising. Keep your voice down, Manager Kim hissed, glancing nervously toward the sales floor. Customers will hear. Let them hear. I was beyond caring now. Let them know what kind of people you really are. Madame Choi's expression remained impassive. You have 2 choices, Mi-sook. Resign quietly, sign a confession that will remain private, and will ensure you receive a generous severance package. Or what? I challenged. Or we press charges. Theft of this magnitude means prison time. Your reputation will be destroyed. No one will hire you again. The walls seemed to close in around me. I thought of Jin-ho's betrayal, of the careful plot they had constructed. How long had they been planning this? Since before our marriage? Had anything between us ever been real? Why? I asked, my voice breaking. Why go to such lengths to remove me from a simple store job? Madame Choi's perfect composure finally cracked, revealing the contempt beneath. Because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. This store, this entire shopping district, has been in our family for generations. When Jin-ho married you against my explicit wishes, I made it clear you would never be part of our business interests. The marriage was the mistake, she continued, her voice low and vicious. But at least I can ensure you don't contaminate our commercial holdings. Your presence here is an embarrassment. Customers know who you are, the nobody who somehow married into the Choi family. Every day you stand behind that counter is a reminder of Jin-ho's moment of weakness. The truth crashed over me like a wave. This had never been about the job. It was about erasing me step by step from their perfect family picture. And Jin-ho? I asked, though I already knew the answer. My son has finally remembered where his true loyalties lie, she replied. With family. With tradition. With his future. I lunged for my phone, dialing Jin-ho's number with trembling fingers. To my shock, he answered on the first ring. I know why you're calling, he said, his voice distant and formal. Mother warned me you might make a scene. Did you help her forge those documents? I asked, my voice barely audible. Did you help her frame me for theft? His silence was answer enough. Why? I whispered. Because it's time to correct a mistake, he replied. Mother is right. Our worlds are too different. I tried to make it work, but 5 years of marriage is a mistake to you? I interrupted, tears streaming down my face. 5 years of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, he said coldly. Sign the papers, Mi-sook. Walk away with your dignity intact. It's more than most people get. I ended the call and faced Madame Choi, who was watching me with the satisfied expression of a predator who had finally cornered its prey. You will never be rid of me that easily, I said, my voice shaking with rage. I've kept records of every conversation, every threat. I have copies of the real inventory reports. You think I didn't see this coming? You think I'm as naive as I was 5 years ago? For the first time, uncertainty flickered across her perfect features. You're bluffing, she said, but her voice lacked conviction. I reached into my bag and pulled out a small recording device. Would you like to hear what Jin-ho said to me last week? About how you've been planning this for months. About how the deed transfer was just the first step. Manager Kim blanched. Madam Choi, perhaps we should discuss this privately. There's nothing to discuss, I cut in. I'm not resigning. I'm not signing a false confession. And if you try to fire me based on these fabricated charges, I'll take my evidence to every news outlet in Seoul. The next morning I arrived at the boutique early, my heart pounding but my resolve firm. The store was eerily quiet, the lights still off. I used my key to enter, half expecting to find the locks changed. As I flipped on the lights, I gasped. The store had been transformed overnight. Display cases emptied, mannequins stripped bare, clothing racks removed. Only dust outlines remained where merchandise had stood just yesterday. What have they done? I whispered to myself, walking through the ghost of what had been my workplace. A noise from the back office drew my attention. I found Manager Kim there, packing the last of her personal items into a cardboard box. What happened? I demanded. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Madame Choi decided to close the boutique. Effective immediately. All employees will receive 3 months severance pay. She closed an entire store just to get rid of me? I couldn't believe the lengths to which this woman would go. Manager Kim finally looked up, her expression a mixture of pity and fear. You don't understand who you're dealing with, Mi-sook. The Choi family doesn't lose. Ever. I rushed home, desperate to confront Jin-ho, but the apartment was empty. Drawers pulled open, closets cleared out. On our bed lay a manila envelope containing divorce papers and a bank statement showing a transfer of 50 million won to my personal account. My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. I answered cautiously. I underestimated you, came Madame Choi's voice, smooth as silk. A mistake I won't make again. Where is Jin-ho? I demanded. Abroad. Where he'll remain until this unpleasantness is behind us. You can't just. I can and I have, she interrupted. The store is closed. Jin-ho is gone. The money in your account should be more than adequate compensation for your inconvenience. You think you've won, I said, anger replacing my shock. I know I have, she replied. Check your email. I pulled up my inbox to find a message from an unfamiliar address. The subject line read, Security footage Moonlight Boutique. Attached was a video that showed me, clearly identifiable, placing expensive items into my bag after hours. That's not real, I whispered. That never happened. It looks real enough, she said. Real enough for the police, certainly. Real enough for the press. Your choice, Mi-sook. Take the money and disappear or face the consequences of challenging the Choi family. My recording device. My evidence. Suddenly it all seemed so flimsy against the weight of their power and influence. You won't get away with this, I said, though my confidence was crumbling. I already have, she replied. Goodbye, Mi-sook. The line went dead. I sat on the edge of the bed, divorce papers in one hand, phone in the other. The apartment felt vast and empty around me. 5 years of marriage erased. A career I loved destroyed. All because I had dared to step into a world that wasn't meant for me. My phone buzzed with a text message from an unknown number. I'm sorry. I had no choice. Manager Kim. Attached was a photo of a document. A real estate transfer deed showing that the boutique building had been sold to a shell corporation. The signature date was 3 years ago, long before Madame Choi had claimed to purchase it. This had been the plan all along. Not just to remove me from the store but to close it entirely. To erase any trace of my existence in their perfect world. I should have felt defeated. Instead, a strange calm washed over me. I thought of the recording device still in my bag. Of the documents I had secretly copied. Of the powerful family that thought they could simply erase a person who didn't fit their narrative. I opened my laptop and began to type an email to every news outlet in Seoul. The Choi family empire, built on lies and manipulation. As I pressed send, my phone rang again. Jin-ho's number. "Don't do this," he pleaded, his voice desperate. "You don't know what mother is capable of." "But I do now," I replied quietly. "And soon everyone else will too." There was a long silence before he spoke again. "I did love you, you know. In my way." "Your way wasn't enough," I said, ending the call. Outside my window, the first drops of rain began to fall on the city. I watched them trace patterns down the glass, feeling neither triumph nor despair. Just a cold, clear certainty that this was only the beginning. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Choi family heir flees country amid fraud allegations. So it had begun. The battle lines were drawn. Madame Choi had wanted me out of the store, out of her family, out of her carefully constructed world. But she had underestimated the power of a woman with nothing left to lose. The rain fell harder now, drumming against the window. I picked up the divorce papers and tore them in half, then in half again. Let them come for me. I was ready. What Madame Choi never understood was that the store was never just a job to me. It was proof that I belonged somewhere, that I had value beyond the family I had married into. By taking it away, she hadn't weakened me, she had set me free. But as I stood there watching the city disappear behind sheets of rain, a chill ran down my spine. On the coffee table lay an elegant envelope that hadn't been there before. Inside was a single sheet of paper bearing the Choi family crest and 3 words in elegant script. "This isn't over."